Thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Thursday, September 22nd edition of our video devotionals. And thank you so much for joining us today. And we call this Trusting Thursday, and hope your Thursday is going well. And this happens to be the last day of summer and the first day of fall. Technically, fall doesn't begin until 9 p.m. This evening. So most of the day is still summer. So summer's still trying to hang on. In fact, we're forecasted for 90 degrees today, and then the low in the morning is supposed to be 50. So that goes to show you, when you have a 40-degree swing like that, then you know then a front's going to go through, and we're going to be in the fall mode. So it's interesting how it works that way, almost exactly on the date that fall is supposed to occur. By the way, I guess today it's equal daylight, equal darkness in a 24-hour period. I think that's what that means. So anyway, so we will shift into a new season, and I do love fall. Today we're going to be in Nahum, or Nahum, however you want to pronounce it, Nahum, and we're going to look at a verse and then also show its corresponding verse over in the New Testament. So we're going to be in Nahum chapter 1, verse 15, and then if you'll also find Romans chapter 10, verse 15, and then we'll just give you something practical today to try to help you. All right, so appreciate everybody who watches these, and thank you so much for the comments, the interactions that we have, and may the Lord continue to help us to do these, and you listen, and together we'll go forward for God, okay? All right, so basically the book of Nahum is about the destruction of Nineveh. Now, we know Nineveh because Jonah was the preacher who was supposed to go there and preach against it, and of course they all got right with God. I think, without looking this up, I think when Nineveh got right with God, then it was about 100 years later or so that this destruction was to occur, or did occur, and so it goes to show you they went from this great deliverance from God, and everybody repenting, getting right with God, and then, of course, over a period of time, sadly, this happens. The decisions of people, the decisions of leadership, the decisions of every or many individuals, then God says it's time, and the destruction is imminent. And yet, in this book of these three chapters, there's a wonderful promise here that we find and a wonderful truth that we find here in chapter 1, verse 15. Notice what it says. It says, "Behold upon the mountains the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace. O Judah, keep thy solemn feasts, perform thy vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee, he is utterly cut off." Notice again that first part of that verse. "Behold upon the mountains the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace." Now, listen to this verse over here in Romans 10:15. It says this, "And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace, and bring glad tidings of good things." So there you have it. So you've got this prophet. He's making the truth there in his day, and then we find over here in the book of Romans where it's being said that those who bring peace through the gospel message, and that's what's wonderful about it. You know, what's interesting about these two verses here, or at least the one where it mentions the feet. All right, so behold upon the mountains, the feet of him. So you've got the feet mentioned there, and then in Romans 10:15 it says, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace. You know, when it comes to the gospel, it's meant to be taken. It's meant to be carried. It's like an army. An army marches on its feet, and the feet of a soldier is one of the most important elements of a soldier. When it comes to a child of God, you know, when we bring peace, we literally take it to the people. So the encouragement, the challenge, if you want to call it that, is if we're going to bring peace to people, then we've got to take that peace to them. And of course, Romans talks about the gospel of peace, and the word gospel means good news. So we need to be in the practice of taking the good news to people. You know, sometimes I think we just sit back as a church and say, well, if they walk through the doors, we welcome them, and we'll do everything we can to help them. But you know, the chances of someone walking through the door versus us going out to the people, which we're commanded to do, to go out into all the world, preach the gospel, the chances of someone walking through the door and getting saved, as opposed to you going out and finding them, winning them to the Lord and bringing them to the church, I can't give you a percentage, but I'll guarantee you for every one that will walk through the door, we'll just say uninvited. Now, we're not talking about you inviting someone. If you bring somebody to church and you want to, they're lost and you know someone's going to help them get saved there, I understand that. But I'm talking about people that we expect when they decide they're quote going to get right with God, they're going to come to us, and then the gospel will be preached, and I'm all for that. I try to every single message at church. On Sundays at least, on Wednesdays it's devoted to Bible studies, but there's not very many times that the gospel's not presented in one form or another at church, and that's great. We should do that. But you know what? When the Bible talks about how beautiful are the feet, I believe it's speaking about people who take the peace to the people that take the gospel to the people, and how beautiful are the feet of them that do that. So, as my mom used to say, Christianity is a lot about shoe leather. We can talk about it. We can do a lot of talking. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Who are you going to take it to? Who are you going to go help? So it boils down to that shoe leather principle. And it is interesting here in Nahum and in the book of Romans how beautiful are the feet of them. So let's be people that take the gospel to the people, that take the good tidings, that take the peace. All right, so just think about that. Let the Lord speak to you about that. Let's be certainly peacemakers and glad tidings bearers, bearers of the good news. And when you take the gospel to people, and that's what people need to hear. And so we'll stop at that note. We're at about the 6.5 minute mark. We'll see you tomorrow on what we call Faithful Friday. We pray you have a good day today. Be safe and we say be healthy, of course. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.